Hi, I'm Lindsay Parker. I'm from Yahoo Music. I'm very excited today to be here at Build to talk to G-Eazy about The Beautiful and Damned. Thank you so much for coming here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited. There's a lot to talk about. So you have a new album comes out next week,
Yeah.
December 15th, The Beautiful and Damned. It seems like a very ambitious project. Is it a double album, a concept album?
Yeah.
I can't use that term, but tell me a little bit about the ideas behind it.
Yeah, a concept album, a double album, a short film. It was a big undertaking. It was a big project. It was, took a long time. It was a big investment from everything. But it's been 2 years exactly now since my last album. So I wanted to give it that. I want to give every project that. I want to give anything that I put my name on that. But I just felt like, this is my third album. This is a culmination of so much, dream chasing and hard work, and from the very early days to to touring to release to tour to release to tour to never taking any breaks. I really wanted to give this one my all, and hopefully, hit a new level.
If it's a concept album, what's the overarching concept behind it?
The overarching theme is duality. Is duality of a lifestyle that we tend to glamorize. A world in which, we look at through a lens of, celebrity, or the fast life, or, the idea of overindulgence, and what comes along with that. But some of the trappings of it, and the potholes to look out for, and the darker sides of what comes with it. The title is taken from a book. It's by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and it's a story about a couple in the 1920s, a couple that was living this out of control lifestyle. Because back then, it was the Prohibition, and people were drinking like crazy, going out and partying and all this. But what they didn't know was the 30s were, the Great Depression was about to wake them up from this dream that they were having of this over-the-top lifestyle. So I'm kind of comparing that to me in my 20s, and living this over-the-top lifestyle that comes with, some of celebrity and this rock and roll lifestyle, this roller coaster that I'm on. And, it's just that kind of fleeting feeling that can this last forever? Can you sustain this? Or will this, send you kind of out of control?
Was there an epiphany in your life, something that happened to you that made you look at the celebrity rock and roll lifestyle and go, there's more to it than what I thought, or there's this dark side? Was there anything that happened in your life?
Yeah, there's been a lot of moments. Yeah, a lot of moments. I'm trying to think of one defining epiphany, but whether it's an extremely hungover morning, what the hell did I do last night and what mistakes did I make? Shame and regret, or whatever, or just the distance that can tend to grow between the life back home, family and friends, and where you come from, who you've always been, versus where you are now. And sometimes you don't realize that until farther down this road, and all of a sudden you stop and you look at how far you've come down that road, and you say, when did we get here? And it's just, I've been chasing this fantasy for a long time. I started making music when I was 13 or 14, and you go so hard sometimes that it becomes a blur almost, and all of a sudden you stop and realize, and you're like, I've been chasing this road down this path for so long that, all of a sudden I woke up here, and this is crazy.
It is. So obviously you were saying this is a double album. It's a big project. And, frankly, we live in a time right now that's very singles-driven, streaming-driven. We do have the Lemonades, or, the Reputation by Taylor Swift. We have those occasional albums that everyone wants to buy in a full package. But it is tough to have people sit through an album, want to buy the whole thing. So obviously it was a risk for you to do this. Do you have any concerns about that, or what makes this something that people need to consume as a whole thing?
There's definitely some risks in that, and I think the attention spans of our generation have just shrunken to microscopic levels, and that's crazy to me because when I was growing up, when I fell in love with music, when I got to be the age where I had my own taste in music and I knew what I liked and what the CDs I was saving my money up to buy, you know, it was a different time. It was like, you know, I'm going to date myself here, but I would save up my little money when I was 10 years old and, you know, 11, 12 years old, and I'd go down to Tower Records, you know, and I could get like one CD a month. You know what I mean? And you really lived with that CD. You committed to which one. You had to choose which one you were going to buy. And you lived with that. You'd read the booklets, the liner notes, the production credits, everything. And you'd play it front to back. You know what I mean? You didn't just play the single. You really learned like an artist's album. So I've always been a fan and still am, and a believer in the concept of like the album as an expression of an artist's self and story. So, I mean, I knew that this was a big undertaking, 20 songs and a short film, but we made over 100 songs. So this was all I could do. I was like, we tried to trim it down as much as we could. And the theme just kind of came to me through the process of making it, is that there was really these two sounds, these two perspectives on the lifestyle, and these two, you know, kind of personalities inside of me.
Is it going to come out on vinyl?
Absolutely, but there's going to be a lot of vinyls in the pack because you can only fit so many songs on each side.
Tell me more about the short film, and I know you've been screening it for some fans, what the reaction has been to it.
Yeah, so we've been traveling the country in a different city every single day, going to movie theaters, different venues, just doing these events for the fans, inviting out the first 500 fans in each city who pre-ordered the album, and inviting them out because I feel like they're the ones who have supported the hardest, and I want them to come and get to watch the movie early and listen to the album early, and you know, I get up and I talk about it. The concept of the short film, a visual representation of what the music was about, in this lifestyle, this duality of Gerald versus G-Eazy and the way they each handle it. Gerald trying to, you know, preserve his integrity and who he's always been and his where he comes from, and G-Eazy kind of getting lost in the, you know, the distraction sometimes. So it's like these two characters wrestle with each other in the movie, and it's kind of like Fight Club. They both share, you know, half and half of the film, and it alternates back and forth. And so when you see Gerald on screen, he's dressed in regular clothes. When you see G-Eazy on screen, he's dressed in all black as that, and it's meant to represent this. So yeah, it's like Tyler Durden and the narrator in Fight Club, like back and forth.
So do you fight yourself?
Literally, that's how I got like that.
Did you have to do? Did you have to do any? How did you do that? Was there like what were the special effects involved in having Gerald and G-Eazy?
Yeah, we had a stunt double. Yeah.
So actually, the video we just saw for him and I is kind of like a mini movie in itself. So I mean, I said, "Damn!" when I watched it. It's pretty great video. How much of that is art imitating life? There's a lot of chemistry on screen there.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely art imitating life. And that video in particular, there was really no plan for it. We were just like, just follow us. Let's just do what we would have done today, and you know, have cameras follow us because, you know, our energy, both in that song and in the visual representation of the song in the video, you know, it's just, that's what it is, you know.
You can see it.
We literally have like that kind of crazy, you know, Bonnie and Clyde like thing, and I just think like having that peek into, you know, our lives and giving ourselves to that, you know, to represent the song was the way to do it.
How did you guys meet?
The industry's not that big, you know, and we've been fans of each other and friends for a while through that. So, you know, just I think one thing about artists is we can relate to each other because, A, we're just cut from a different cloth for different kinds of people. I think artists, the way we view the world, the way we interpret it, the way we internalize it, the way we, you know, spit it back out, you know, in our creativity and all of that and everything that comes along with it, you know, with the job, it's easy for us to relate to each other. So that was how we connected.
Do you think there'll be other collaborations in the future? I know you're just about to put a new album out now, but are you thinking ahead up that way?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that was literally easy, like the easiest thing to make. So we could do a lot. Yeah.
You got some interesting collaborators on The Beautiful and Damned. That one I wanted to ask you about was E40. You're from the Bay Area, right?
Yeah.
So he must be an icon to you.
Yeah, 40 is the ambassador of the Bay. That's, you know, that's Unc. That's my hero. And a voice that I grew up listening to. You know, he was a staple. So to go from knowing him so well as a fan to knowing him as, you know, a friend and OG and a sensei, as a coach, as a teacher, literally, it's just been incredible and it's been inspiring for me, you know, as such a fan of his. So I kind of feel like he'll probably be on every single project I ever put out. You know, that's just me and his relationship.
What did you, if he was your teacher, what did you learn from him? What lessons did you get?
Principles, really fundamental principles. To attain longevity, I think it's essential, you know, to just always remain humble and gracious, you know, and loyal to those around you, because that level of unity and consistency in your inner circle is super essential, you know, to staying grounded. And, you know, just staying gracious is not taking anything for granted. You know, he's seen everything from, you know, from literally from the 80s to the 90s to now to, like, he's seen them come and go, and he's seen them sustain. And you're talking about somebody with 25, 30 years of experience.
Which is rare in hip-hop. There's only a handful.
Very, very. I mean, hip-hop, popular music, you know, it's a very come and go, and especially now, we're talking about attention spans. So the idea of longevity is elusive, and ultimately, I believe in those principles.
Tell me about some of the other collaborators on this album. There's Charlie Puth, there's Kalani, there's it's like a who's who, really.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, friends of mine, people, you know, that people that I admire artistically. You know, I didn't work with any strangers on this one. It was really like an inner circle kind of thing. Kaylani is like a sister to me, one of my favorite people in the world. Just an incredible human being, an incredible artist, somebody I think very highly of. We have a really dope record on the album, I think.
What was it like working with Cardi B?
Cardi B is a superstar. Cardi B is an international, worldwide superstar. A loud personality. One of those people that's just larger than life, really.
You work with a lot of really strong, cool pop women. You know,
Yeah.
Halsey, Cardi, Kalani. I think you worked with Britney Spears once. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
What? Tell me about that. I only recently learned about that one.
Yeah, that was surreal just because, you know, I mean, obviously, her, you know, she is who she is. One of the biggest artists of our generation, of, you know, of all time, really. Somebody who transcends everything. And when they reached out and wanted me on that record, I felt flattered. I was like, for sure, you know, say less, I'll get it done. And the opportunity she gave me to come out and perform at the VMAs, you know, to come perform in Vegas with her, I mean, that was pretty surreal.
What was she like? Because there's so much mythology and misunderstanding surrounding someone like her.
But I, you know, I like the enigma that comes with, you know, a lot of artists and especially superstars. There's that, like, what's behind the curtain. There's that, like, Wizard of Oz, like, mystique, you know, of, like, and, you know, without giving away or ruining too much of that. You know what I mean? Like, she was that. She was larger than life, but at the same time, very human and humble and down to earth and hella nice to me, so she was cool.
Is that important for your own, for lack of another term, brand or whatever? Like, we live in an era of paparazzi, social media, where everything is so transparent that sometimes I do feel pop stars don't have that enigma anymore. Is that important for you to keep that mystery?
The weird thing is, you know, I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday, is, you know, an artist's social life is pretty, like, non-existent. You know, we work 7 days a week. We're always on the road. So our social life is, you know, my team, like my photographer, my road manager, my sound guy, you know what I mean, my band, my, you know, the homies I keep around me, you know, and try to give jobs to. But, like, literally my social life is who I kick it with at the airport, is who I, like, you know, meet in the lobby to come here, wait for interviews with, you know what I mean? So it's like, you gotta, you know, I forget exactly how that answers your question.
Keeping the mystery and not having every detail of your
Oh yeah.
personal
So
life.
you have to like preserve what you can in terms of like the days off you do get, or the real like outside of the business or whatever, the friendships and relationships you have. You got to kind of preserve some of that privacy because you really don't get much. You know what I mean? So you got to like keep some kind of a curtain, some kind of a life. It's cool to be on Snapchat and Instagram story and all this like, and share as much as you can. And that video is a peek into our lives, really. But you can't give them too much you. And I don't mean that in any of the wrong way. It's like I give a lot of me to my music, to my fans, to my music videos, to everything. But you got to preserve some of that just as a human being.
Yeah, that's great advice. I actually want to ask you some more advice because you actually have a lot of experience in music business study. You went to college and got a degree in music business, and that's a vantage point that I think a lot of artists don't have, and I think it's probably served you very well. What would be your advice to artists from the business side, because you have longevity, in terms of protecting yourself and protecting your art and just the stuff that a lot of artists don't know about until it's too late, to be honest?
Well, in terms of protecting yourself and protecting your art, I mean, it's a balance because literally, like I just said, you have to give a whole lot of yourself, but preserve, a little bit just for your mental sanity. Because you're being asked a lot regularly, but you have to know when to say no and what to keep to yourself. But in terms of, any kind of advice or anything like that, I think the biggest like key to success is hard work, but is having a really strong, unique identity, and they call it brand, but it's really your DNA, your story, your personality, your perspective, what makes you different, and own that and be that and live that and like represent that, and that's what'll set you apart. And yeah.
Going back to the subject of collaborations, you've worked with so many people. Do you have a dream collaborator? Could be anyone that you'd love to record with.
I mean, like the two people I always say is Drake and Kanye. I mean, I'd love to really be in the studio with Lil Wayne. That's one of the greatest of all time. One of the biggest influences in my life. One of the most influential rappers of all time. I'd love to get in the studio with him and just watch him work and just be in awe. Nas would be incredible. But yeah.
I feel like all of those could happen.
Yeah, why not?
Well, you said something in an interview that I read the other day where someone asked you what your goal was, and you flat out said world domination. So what's your plan for world domination? How's that going? I feel you're on the course.
It's more of just just kind of a perspective, It's like, what do you want to do? Oh, I'm just chilling. I don't know. I don't really know. What do you want to do? I want to take over the world, straight up. This is just what you like get up every day and like feel like, as opposed to I don't know what I would do if I was running the world. I don't have no answers. I don't really know. I just say that. I mean it in the sense of like, I'm a work my ass off every single day. I get up every single day. I'm blessed to have air in my lungs and be able to see and hear and think and speak and make music. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take advantage of that and make the most of it. And
you've kind of had that mindset since, what, you said 13?
Yeah.
When did you know at such a young age that this was what you wanted to do, and where did that drive come from?
I don't know. I'm probably a little off. Listening to Eminem and Nas and, feeling like, I want to be like Hov. I want to be like that. Like if I'm, if I really want to chase this dream, I want to chase it here. I don't want to be like, just like doing stuff to do it. Like I want to go.
And one last question, you were talking about your childhood, and you were talking about going to Tower Records, which I dearly miss Tower Records. Made me a little nostalgic to hear about that, and how you could buy like your one CD a month. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Juvenile, 400 Degrees. Yeah, shouts out Juve.
Awesome. Well, I want to make sure we have time you have fans here who have questions, so I'm going to pass it to the audience. There's someone who will be bringing up people to ask questions for you.
Cool.
So.
My name is Fatima, and I was just wondering, like, what is the one song on the album that you're looking most forward to people hearing?
It's tough to say, man. I mean, because it's an eclectic album. It's, I think there's something on there for everybody. But me personally, it's probably the last song on the album. It's called Easy. Yeah, it's kind of like my life story in a sense. Fast forwarded.
Can you give me a little more detail about your life story?
I write a letter to my younger self 3 times on the album at different ages that just felt like significant points of my life, Yeah. And it was inspired. I read Ray Allen, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He wrote a letter to his younger self, and it was just, reading that inspired me, because anybody who's chased this idea of who they wanted to be in life or what they wanted to achieve, and faced adversity or doubted themselves at any time, and then ultimately achieved what they wanted to do and accomplish these dreams. That idea of looking back and encouraging yourself at these points, these significant times where it definitely didn't seem like it was going to happen, and just saying listen, I know you're going through it right now. I know that it's not looking pretty for you, but just keep your head down and just keep doing this for the right reason, and you'll be all right.
That's awesome. Sorry, I just wanted to learn more. Next question from...
Hi, I'm Gabby, and I was wondering what it was like to work with Halsey.
It was incredible working with Halsey. She, outside of everything personal, you know what I mean? I love working with people who I'm a fan of and then watching them work, in front of me, seeing what they do. I've heard you're good at what you do, and you didn't disappoint. You know what I mean? That's just always inspiring for me as just a fan of music, as a fan of artistry. I think, anybody who reaches that point got there by being special at what they do, and everybody's uniquely good in their own way. I can't do what she does, and, she doesn't do what I do. So watching somebody bring something unique to the table and watching them in the studio do what it is they do right in front of you, because I think it's magic, really. You know what I mean? Watching somebody draw, an amazing drawing is I can't do that. That, to me, that's magic. Watching somebody, sing a chorus like she does in that tone of voice is it's impressive.
Next question.
Hi, I was wondering, how do you manage to stay so positive with being in the spotlight all the time?
You just appreciate the good that's there, because there's a lot of it. I know I talk about the damn so much, but it's also beautiful. It's also really beautiful. Getting to make a living, doing what you love, getting to put people in position to also succeed, getting to take care of my family and stuff like that. These are, dreams of mine. So there's a lot of good that comes with it.
Great. We have time for one more question.
Hi, my name is Teresa. My question is, at age of 12 or 13, do you ever imagine yourself being right here talking to your artists about your music?
Yes and no. Yes and no. No, of course not. This is beyond my wildest imaginations. Yes, of course. If I was going to do it, I said I'd do it. I'm here.
Good answer. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you. I'm really excited. Tell us again about when the album and the film and everything is going to be available.
Beautiful and Damn, December 15th. Go get that man out everywhere. You feel me? You got what I mean? Yay!
Yes, what he said.